So, are you a first-time home buyer? Maybe you're a veteran leaving the military and you're ready to buy your forever home. Maybe you're already out there making offers using either a VA or FHA loan and you keep getting rejected and you just can't figure out why. In today's video, I want to share with you why sellers are rejecting VA and FHA loans and what you can do about it. And we're going to get started right. Hello and welcome back to All Things Knoxville with me, Ben Barredo, your local real estate pro and relocation expert for East Tennessee. Before we jump into today's video, I want to remind you that I make videos like this every single week. So if you like this content, if you want more videos about buying homes, selling homes, especially if you want a closer look at East Tennessee, like this video and then consider subscribing to my channel. It'll help me grow. It'll help me connect with other buyers and sellers and people considering relocating to Tennessee. Lastly, if you yourself are thinking of moving to East Tennessee or you're in Tennessee thinking of buying, selling a home, or investing in property, if you got questions about real estate, you need information about a house on the market, whatever the case may be, hit me up. I'm your go-to realtor. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, go to my website and sign up. I love helping people move to the area. I do it all the time, and I'd love to help you too. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video topic. So you're an active buyer running into a lot of rejection, or you're a buyer thinking of getting into the market and your realtor friend or your friends in general are telling you that FHA and VA loan options aren't the best choice because they can't win. Is it true that government-backed loans are not the average seller's favorite kind of financing to see when they're looking through a bunch of offers? Well, the easy answer is yes, it is true. And in today's highly competitive seller's market, buyers are already having to compromise not only on home features and what they want in their dream home, but they also have to compromise on contingencies and expectations set forth in the buying contract that protects them from being stuck with a house that could possibly lead to nightmares. Before we move forward on everything else, I bet you're asking, what is a contingency? A contingency is an expectation or an arrangement set forth in the contract that must be met by one or both parties, or the contract terms cannot move forward. So some of those are set forth in the contract and already in place, like the inspection contingency, the appraisal contingency, or the financing contingency. Some of them are mandatory depending on the buyer's financing situation. For example, the appraisal contingency is a must if you're financing the home. It cannot be avoided if you're borrowing a large percentage of the purchase price. The inspection contingency, on the other hand, is a voluntary contingency that the buyer can opt out of if they choose to. Then you can add your own contingencies. For example, maybe you're a buyer that has to sell a house first. So the contingency is an important aspect of the buying and selling process. And this is also where the main issue lies when it comes to FHA and VA and any other government-backed loan, whether it be THDA, USDA. These loans have some issues for sellers. Now, cash buyers, they can skip all the above contingencies if they want to. And though all buyers can skip an inspection if they want to, the one thing all finance buyers are stuck with is an appraisal, because a bank, they won't loan you the money unless they know the house they're financing is worth it. Now, this is a possibility that all buyers face when financing more than 40% of a sales price. Now, some lenders might let you get off of having to do an appraisal if you're paying 50% or 60% of the sales price out of pocket, but most still won't do that. So how does this affect the VA and FHA loan? What's so special about them if all buyers that are financing have to deal with this? Well, many people who apply for a home loan take out a conventional mortgage, but many buyers turn to FHA and VA loans to purchase a place to live, especially first-time home buyers, veterans, and people that are low on cash. FHA loans allow buyers to purchase a home with as little as 3.5% down, whereas a conventional mortgage generally requires a higher down payment, anywhere from 5%, but usually between 10 and 20% of the sales price. Some conventional mortgage lenders will take, again, 5% down, but often buyers need to put a minimum of 10% down. And VA loans, meanwhile, allow buyers to purchase a home with no money down at all. And our veterans deserve that, right? Yet, in recent survey, and due to the current climate of this market, the National Association of Realtors only found that 30% of sellers say they'd likely accept an offer from a buyer who's planning to use an FHA or VA loan. By contrast, 89% of sellers would only accept an offer from a buyer with a conventional mortgage. So why are sellers rejecting this loan? Well, data from the Urban Institute shows that sellers associate these loan products with stricter home inspection requirements and home appraisal contingencies. So what do I mean by that? Of course, home appraisals are a requirement for any mortgage. But for FHA and VA loans, sellers must reduce their home purchase price to match the appraised value. So it's easy to see why some may be less than eager to work with a buyer who are coming in with these type of financing in a market where homes are selling for 10, 20, 30% over market value. It's very unlikely that these homes are going to appraise for that much. And when a seller sees that's what they can get for the house, that's what they want to walk with. And there are more reasons, but before we jump into the reasons that these loans make it harder for some buyers to get an accepted offer, I wanted to tell you about last week's video. Last week's video actually touches somewhat on the same topic. Since I have seen a lot of buyers struggle and I want to help you out, last week I shared a way to make any financing offer a little bit more competitive, and in this market, every edge counts. You can see that video by clicking right here, or you can follow the link that's in the description. So as I touched on, all appraisals are there to make sure a home is worth what the buyer's borrowing. And if the sales price is higher than what the appraisal thinks it's worth, then the borrower will be impacted because they cannot borrow more than the value of the home. If, for example, they're borrowing 80% of the value of a $300,000 house, and they have a house under contract for $300,000, which wouldn't be likely, but let's just say they got it without competing against other offers. But the house appraised at $275 because most homeowners are selling their house at the top of market value. Now they can only borrow 80% of $275, so the seller has no choice but to either lower the price or cancel the purchase and go back to market, which means they've wasted several weeks off market, missing out on other buyers because of this scenario. Now, if you're a VA and FHA loan, you add a layer to that, which is these appraisers are also looking at potential issues the home may have that causes it to be unsafe for the buyer. If they find something, even if the home appraises well, they can mark the loan subject to the seller's completing repairs. What this means is that if they find an unsafe issue in the house, let's say for an example, you have a high staircase with no handrails, they could say that the loan is subject to the seller installing handrails on the stairs, or else the buyers can't get the loan through underwriting. This means the seller has to turn around and spend money on repairs that they weren't planning to, and they wouldn't have to with other types of buyers. The example I gave is a minor repair issue, but they can be much bigger. Another reason VA and FHA loans are tougher for sellers to swallow is that they take longer to close. When you have a government involved, that means that there aren't just a lender and his underwriting, there's also a lender underwriting and now the housing department that have to review the loan, which is going to take longer. Most loans can close in 30 to 35 days, but on average, VA and FHA loans are going to take anywhere from 35 to 45 days, which means the seller has to wait even longer to get paid. Lastly, going back to the FHA and VA loans appraisal and possibly appraising low, if the home appraises low, under one of these loans, that value will now be stuck to that property for all VA and FHA loans for the next 6 months. It might be 3 to 6 months. So if you think about it, when a seller takes their home off the market for one of these loans and it appraises low, and the seller refuses to lower the price, and they not only wasted time off market with this buyer, but now they pretty much have to avoid all FHA and VA loan buyers for the next 3 to 6 months because the appraised value is now going to follow that home every time another VA or FHA loan pops up as a buyer. I hope that makes sense. So now all government-backed loans and buyers cannot buy this house unless the seller decides to lower the price. At least for 3 to 6 months. So those are the reasons sellers are rejecting VA and FHA loans. So what can you do about it if you are a buyer using a VA or FHA loan? Well, here are some options that you have that could make it more likely for your offer to get accepted. First, check out the video I did last week. Next, you want to make sure you have a great realtor like me that has strategies to get your offer accepted. And then another option is you're going to want to make sure you have cash to throw at the property. This will be hard if you're a first-time home buyer using an FHA, because you're more than likely using that loan because you don't have extra money. It also defeats the purpose of a VA loan, since VA loans are pretty much no down payment loans with minimal cost to the buyer. But if you have the cash, it'll make you more flexible on certain things. For example, you can put in an offer that if there is a subject to repair that comes up from the appraisal, that you, the buyer, will be willing to fix it at your expense, not the seller's. This will relieve the seller of the fear that they're going to have to spend money on the house that they weren't planning to. Another thing you could do is what we call an appraisal gap. So basically, you write in the offer that if the house appraisal is lower than the sales price, that you, the buyer, are willing to pay a certain amount of money cash out of pocket to try to make up the difference between the low appraisal and the original sales price. So what we've seen a lot of buyers do here in Knoxville, for example, is offering for $10,000 appraisal gap. So the language will say something like this: if the house appraises below the sales price, the buyer is willing to pay up to $10,000 above the appraised value, but no more than the original sales price, and obviously no more than the $10,000 they're offering. And finally, you can try to get a different type of loan. I know this isn't really a solution, but it is actually. If you can come up with the money, maybe you borrow it, maybe you just have to wait a little while and save, and VA, FHA loans are just too much of a challenge in your market, then go to your lender and see if you can get a conventional loan or some other type of loan that would be more suitable to your market and the sellers in that market. Well, listen, that's it for this video. Listen, I actually had plans to do a tour of a town near Knoxville. I bought a drone. I was going to go out there and shoot some drone video, really get into it and show you the community. But guess what? It's been thunderstorms all day, and it looks like it's going to be that way all week. So what I decided to do was make another video giving you a good inside tip to buying and selling homes. And maybe later on, when the weather clears, I can get out there and shoot that video. But I do have a backup plan for next week, so it's not going to be just another buyer seller tip. It's going to be a little more personable to the area, East Tennessee, and let you get to know this area a little better and the people that live here. Let's just hope the weather clears up, and then I can shoot both videos. So that's it for this. Again, thanks so much for watching today and sticking with my channel. If you need anything at all, do not hesitate to call or message me. We'll see you next week, and in the meantime, have a great day. Bye.